Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 6th grade concept of representing integer operations. This is standard 6.3c in the great state of Texas, and we're using item number 19 of the 2023 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a model here representing operations. And look, we've got negatives, we got fours, we've got eights, we've got all kinds. All right, so let's see exactly what is being represented here. And then what we could do is we can actually simplify each of these expressions. Okay, so it looks like we are starting at -8. And the reason I'm getting that is because the arrows move to the right? So I see 4 different jumps here. And so we go from -8. Looks like we end up at 0, right? So what we could do is we can say, all right, so which of these expressions here would simplify to 0? Okay, so that's one way to do it. Another way would be just to see what exactly are we doing here. So I've got a -8, right? And then I'm taking 4 hops, okay? And each of these hops are moving me 2 to the right, okay? So I've got 2 to the right. And so what's happening here? Am I multiplying this? Actually, it looks like I'm just adding these 4 different hops of 2, okay? And so let's see what this would translate to, right? So this is going to be -8. 4 times 2 is going to be 8. Look at that, -8 plus 8. Okay, so that gets me 0. So that gets me where I needed to go. I started at -8. I took 4 hops to the right. Each hop was a +2, and that got me up to 0. And that looks like C, except they kind of switched the 2 and the 4, but we know that it could be 2 groups of 4, 4 groups of 2, right? They both end up being 8, okay? So I'm thinking it's going to be this C. So let's check out A, B, and D to make sure that they're incorrect, right? So -2, this parentheses means multiplication, right? So if I've got -2 times -4, well, first off, 2 times 4 makes 8. If I've got 2 negatives, right, that makes a positive. So that's just going to be +8. So what this does is that ends me up way off the number line. It ends me up over here +8. And I need to end up at 0. Okay, so that's no good. So -2 times 4, so that's like B. Still going to end up, 2 times 4 makes 8, but I've got a negative times a positive. A negative times a positive makes negative. So that at least ends me at -8, but look at the direction of the arrows. The direction of the arrows show me that I'm moving to the right, and I need to end up at this 0. So that's not going to work either. That's going to end up at -8. Okay, so I've got this -8, right, divided by, I'm going to make it a fraction, -2, right? So 8 divided by 2 is 4. A negative divided by a negative makes a positive. So that's going to end me up right here at this 4, right? -8 divided up into, -2, and that's going to give, so that doesn't work either. Now, like I said, this one starts at -8, right? Now this is 2 groups of +4. So if I take 2 groups of +4, that's 1. That's 2. So you could use the commutative property of multiplication, and you could reverse the factors, and you're still going to get that same thing. So 2 groups of 4 still moves me up to that +0, or that 0, which in a positive direction, which is where I'm wanting to go. So my answer here is C.